Okay. I think we should be live.
Okay.
Let me double check.
Hi, Coach. Just like.
Alright. Yeah. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first edition of Ungraceful Defiance. Or we could call it the Hell No Show, or Hell Yes. It depends on the suggestions and ideas that we collected from the previous playtest, which is in this case the one we did in February. We probably won't go too much into bugs or minor stuff that we're working on right now for the next version. We mainly want to address all the ideas and suggestions that you talked about. Now to introduce ourselves, I am Yaman. I am the community manager in the World of Nifty Craft. And we have
Don Vino. Hi.
Don Vino. How's it going?
Good. Thank you. Excited to be reporting back on the streamers' feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully this exercise will be quite regular because we want to be very close to the to the players and to the streamers who spent a lot of time sending us, writing their feedback to us. So the least we can do is look at it seriously and think about it seriously and report back about it.
Yeah, and I think especially in this playtest we got a lot of different and new feedback and suggestions and nice ideas. So actually now is the best time to start doing this kind of show or regular thing, and hopefully it will become a regular thing. How do you want to start? I was thinking we could, because we have everything ready now in a sheet in front of me, we could either go by type or by who suggested it. I think the second one is better. So if someone doesn't want to watch the whole thing, can just go to their section and check what is up.
Pragmatic.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we can. So we have a summary here of the feedback, also by sorted by player. So you want to go through it that way?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, let me just filter through. Okay. Let's start by ZOREEE. Do you see it? I changed some stuff.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You want me to read the?
No, we can do whatever.
Yeah, I guess you go ahead.
Okay, I'll read it.
If you want, you go ahead and read it, and then we switch roles.
So the first one from ZOREEE, just the music. And by the way, if anyone just hears some weird noise because I'm hearing something with the music, just tell me so I could turn it off completely. Or if you have any issues with the voice or with the videos. So the first one from ZOREEE. In the tutorial area, I felt a little forced down the warrior route, but I could have played a bow, dagger or magic type class as well, which I wasn't really aware of. The quests pointed you towards the sword spear stuff, but you would have had to go looking for other things. Whereas I think it would be beneficial to have some explanation in the quests that you make bows and daggers here and magic staff here, instead of throwing us right to the forge where you make the warrior stuff.
ZOREEE. I agree. So this is, I mean, we always had to make a balance between railroading the player early on so they don't get too lost and opening up too many options. But I think this is a necessary compromise here. Maybe we should bring it a bit earlier to tell you, before you build a whole tier 1 set made for the warrior, or whenever we ask you to go craft your first item, to tell you, hey, you could maybe craft a weapon that's like a bow, as you said, a bow or a staff, respectively, at the lodge or at the wizard's mage. I think, very much in favor of this, so we should put it on the list of to-dos. There's a lot of things we're working on the Fit2i. And so, yeah, that should be in there. Totally agree. What do you think, Yaman?
Yeah, I think that this is something we always are working on, like how the start of the game is for each different type of player, and as you said, like we don't want to make it very rigid, and this is, I think, what ZOREEE is also agreeing with us, that he just wants a chance to know that there's other ways, there's another way to do stuff, which is something that
yeah, that's true. We don't even have to make it a very hard choice. We can just tell you, hey, you can do this class of weapons here, this class of weapons there, and that class of weapon over there.
Yeah, it could be even as just a text.
Yeah, exactly.
Dialogue or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Another one from ZOREEE. Different defense cards could be nice depending on your armor. So instead of cure all, defend, that adds X block, maybe give rogue bow users dodge cards instead of block, that has a chance of the attack missing. And maybe a mage shield does less block, that reflects damage back or something. Just more variety depending on the class you are trying to go.
Yeah. I'm not sure when, ZOREEE, you wrote this feedback here, because I think we have reflect cards and dodge cards, or cards that increase the chance of the attacker of missing, but they just unlock over time later on, unless I'm understanding this wrong.
No, I think this is it. Like he wants a big variety of
more variety, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely, with a chance to, for the player to strategize. Now, you keep mentioning the word class here. It's important to note that we're trying to be without classes. So everyone starts with the same basic character, and depending on your build, you develop your stats and the set of cards that you can deploy in your deck, set of abilities that you can deploy in your deck. So you can have a rogue chest piece with a warrior's main hand weapon, and so possibly, for example, with the rogue chest piece, you get a dodge card. Yeah, but it doesn't mean you're rogue because you're carrying a warrior's weapon. You just have that build that is a bit made of whatever classes you chose to have.
Yeah, I think he a bit has an idea. I think so, because he put the class in quotation marks. So
yeah. Maybe he meant what I'm saying. He meant when you have a rogue class chest armor, chest piece, you can okay.
All right. And also another.
Do you want me to read the next one and you treat it?
Oh, interesting.
Okay, I'll treat it.
I mean, yeah, we could do both. But I just wanted to say something more about this the cards or abilities or runes thing. Is that we're always also working on these, right? So we're always adding new stuff. We're always adjusting stuff, balancing, and I think eventually we'll have something that is. Some ways that players have to figure out which abilities work better with each other, that they have to equip them, and which one complements the other ones, and so on.
Yeah, true. So at the moment, I think we only have about 60 abilities. If you unlock everything, you probably end up with 60 abilities. But by the time of release, we'll have more than 300. So we better have some of these abilities that you're mentioning, dodging and reflecting.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, hi, Ashlit and Hassan. Thank you for the follow. All right, you can read the next one.
You ready for it?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Oh, did you reorder them?
No, I didn't do that.
Okay, okay. The
That was-
quests kind of just dead stop right out of the tutorial island. I'm sure it's planned, but having some NPCs to hand out quests would be nice to kind of keep the momentum going to try other things instead of being just done after the tutorial, even in the beta phase. Well,
So-
thank you, ZOREEE, for reaching the next island.
Oh, yeah.
To start with.
Actually, did you notice that so many, compared to the previous playtest, there were way more players who reached out of Tutorial Island, which is a very nice thing that happened,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I started that last playtest number 6 in one of already in the on the whatever
Out.
you will call the continent, the main continent.
The free land.
Yeah, land of the freemen.
Yeah.
I started there, yeah, and I noticed. I just thought there were just more playtesters than usual, but there were a few over there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so yeah, Zori, we actually didn't get to the point where we thought that we need to start making anything as quests planned for the land of the freemen, but for sure there will be something that, as you said, to continue the momentum. And yeah, we're working on something.
Maybe even on playtest 7. So if you let's besides what are the step-by-step quests that are dispatched to you in your onboarding, but we should make it very clear that when you move from Clairiere, the tutorial zone, to the next zone, that what are the new things you obtain in the new town you move to. So you have, it should be very visible without even hand holding you, that this is where you can start doing the flagging up, enlisting to your faction, to your tribe, to go collect flag points, at the risk of being, of PvP, of being attacked. But it also gives you the chance of attacking. What happens there? You get a vault where you can start storing your stuff because you spend a lot of time there and you'll be gathering a lot of stuff. And so naturally we should, stream you towards these, exploring
Yeah.
these functionalities.
Yeah, and stream it to what you can do there. Like, in a way, teaching, and in a way, also showing you around.
Yeah. True.
Okay, last one.
Oh, back to quests. Let me take also back to quests, Yaman. So I would like to keep it, to champion it, the game to be as sandboxy as possible. So even the quests, maybe should not be linear. Like, now do this, now go there, and every time you go to a new zone, or like a bit further. It can even be repetitive, but of different kinds. So carrying, things, letters, secrets from one point to the other, could earn you flag points, for example. And there's many points that you can transport things to and from, or many NPCs, well baked into a story, but not in a linear story, because we want to encourage player encounters. So if you want to farm flag points, you may do those, you may repeat those quests over and over again, but every time is very different, because you will be running into different people. You may run into hostile players, you may run into friendly players. You may be wasting your time, you may be feeling it's going efficient. So it's the sandboxy nature that makes it different, while it might be a repetitive task.
Yeah, I mean, as long as it's fun for someone to actually do every loop that we're putting them in,
Yeah.
then that's great. So like if you tell someone to go 100 times to this city and bring something back, if it's fun at least 90 times of this 100, or I don't know, we have to decide on the number, then it's great.
Yeah, no, we even let the players decide. I mean, it depends how much you want to farm flag points, or you know, if you want to farm them that way.
Yeah, yeah. And also like with sandbox way, we should give a lot of variety of quests. So you will let the player decide actually what to do.
Yeah. Do a transport, get mobs, do crafting, here and there. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. The last one from ZOREEE. That's a long one.
You want me to read it and you treat it?
Oh, it's about the mobile.
Oh, that's an important one.
Yeah, so you do it. I'll read it then.
Okay.
I also said that I think this game would fit mobile very well, and I hope it's intended for the long term. Games like this, in my opinion, struggle on Steam unless they have a bit of mobile backing. Steam appeals to many people between about 16 onwards, where this game seems to appeal to all ages. So that being said, mobile often appeals to kids, possibly even younger than 6, playing things. So it's a big audience that would play this game, and I just wouldn't have access to it because of Steam. I've seen a 2 dev team turn a 3D game with a huge assortment of mechanics and items into a mobile API over a pretty short time. So building a mobile API alongside this early on, I think would best serve the chances of this getting exposure. It would also plays like a modern mobile game, and the style looks like it would grab people's attention in mobile ads. Please.
So, to make it like the gist of this is that he's saying we should do a mobile version of this.
Yeah.
But is he saying that it doesn't fit Steam, or because he says like, or she? Sorry, I'm not sure. They say.
I think
that. Yeah.
I think what they're saying is that it would open more possibilities for us if we have a mobile game accompanying, or mobile version accompanying the Steam version.
Yeah. But ZOREEE is not saying that it doesn't fit.
No.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Mm.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
He's right. It's right. He, right. It's right.
And since we're an MMO, I mean, we're hopefully going into an MMO direction. We need all kind of people from everywhere, right?
Yeah. We need a big party, and the mobile can get the numbers.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good idea. Yeah, and I agree. I mean, it will cost quite a bit of attention and time to port it to mobile, but it's not impossible. I think the challenge is more than the port. The challenge is, getting the right audience on mobile.
Yeah.
Great.
All right.
Thank you for the suggestion. It's encouraging.
Yeah, thank you, ZOREEE. And I hope we see you next time, and with more suggestions and everything. Now to the next one, Voligon. Voligon takes it simple. He has 1-2 sentences per suggestion, per feedback. So let's start with the first one. He wants a feature to drag and drop from inventory to trash items.
I like to throw it into... Yeah. Sure. Quality of life. I remember early on when we were doing the trash functionality. This is a 2D game, not 3D, so there's a bit of difference here. We faced an issue by dropping into the void. It just kept going into some other interface.
Oh, really?
And breaking. Yeah.
Okay.
So we decided to shortcut it and just give you a button to trash. But definitely this is in the pipeline. So speaking of this, I noticed maybe we can. No, that's from Black Boa. It's okay. We'll get to it later. Moving on.
Okay. Another one from Voligon. Mobs to have circles around them, so walking into these circles would auto-engage battle. Ooh.
So
So aggro.
is this aggro or is this attack by walking into? Because now we can attack by clicking, double clicking.
So I think
Or is it aggro?
I think he means that it's a bit annoying to just keep clicking on monsters when you want to fight them. So I want it to be a bit less complicated, just to walk near them and.
So not aggro.
No.
Yeah, I think we can put it in the settings. You know, if you have to auto attack, not auto attack. Auto attack or click to attack.
Yeah, but it might also collide with other ideas.
Yeah, with other functionalities. That's true. What if you want to engage in PvP and you just walk? Well, it's not bad, you know. If you want to engage in PvP and you're walking by a mob, you actually get eaten by the battle with the mob. But then your opponent can join the mob against you. On the contrary, it may put. It's interesting. Actually, so it's not even a settings issue. It should be a rule. Do we want it or not? So that when you're chasing in PvP or anything, what did you think it would conflict with?
I was thinking because one of the suggestions that we'll get to later is that it's talking about how big the circle is that we already have, right? Like when you press on a monster or a mob, you
like
can
your threat circle or something.
Yeah, exactly. And we were thinking to, or actually we already have it in plan, to reduce or to make this circle how big it is depending on the mastery of our battle, right? And it is a kind of a strategic way. Like you want to, especially if you're next to really strong monsters, you want to engage as little amount of them as possible. But then again, if you said that you can put it as a setting, then it's up to the player. Do they want to engage all of these monsters or mobs, or do they want to strategize?
Yeah, but if it's a control in the that was my first tendency. If it's a control in the hands of the player, the opponent, the player opponent, will not know what to do. I mean, will you just walk through the mobs, or will you auto engage with the mob? So how do I chase? How do I evade? You know, do I evade by walking through the mobs and then you cannot evade? You cannot go in them anymore. But I don't know if you're on auto or not on auto. I think this should be either a rule of auto or a rule of no auto.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we need to discuss it more.
Yeah. So, but at the core of it, Voligon's request is a matter of quality of life. It's not the rule. So he doesn't mind, you know, like farming mobs. He just doesn't want to click to farm. He just wants to like walk to farm, and it has a lot of implications on design. So actually, I would put it in the icebox. Or we can discuss. You know, we can discuss it, and because the implications on design are actually interesting.
Yeah, but that's the thing. We need to discuss it with the whole team, because this is something is more complicated than just like this.
Yeah, the ramifications are many, and we should to be discussed.
To be discussed. Next one from Voligon as well. Balance the outpost bosses as they are easier than some of the normal mobs on map.
Thank you, Voligon, for reaching the outpost bosses. Definitely, we're tuning them for the next one.
Yeah.
I was actually like, when I was playing during the playtest, I was surprised some people were farming, like they got sick of farming like the normal mobs. They went to farm the outpost bosses, so they climb up the flag's leaderboard. And I'm looking at the flag leaderboard, and I'm like so down on it. And I needed to play so much to like catch up. It was like encouraging. At the same time, discouraging, because I had to work a lot. But yeah, I hadn't expected people to reach, players to reach that level of progress. So this is why the outpost bosses were still not tuned, and even the outposts timing. So I don't know if I don't think the rules were clear on players yet about how outposts reset and the benefits of controlling outposts.
Yeah, so this is something we're already working on.
Yeah, definitely. This is a necessity.
Okay, this is an interesting one from Voligon. I think enhanced material when crafting should require a tier or of it should require a tier of or tier below bar to craft. So for example, T3.1 should still require T2 bar to craft. Same goes for 4.1 and 5.1. This will help keep these lower tier mats relevant.
Definitely. That's a very wise. No. We will not do it. But we should. I think this is a very wise remark, and definitely you should keep the low tier items and resources relevant for the long run of the economy. But the way we do it is not in the crafting by using lower tier items. Is the fact that you need refined items. And if you look at the recipe of refined items, each refined item needs the tier below and the tier below and the tier below. A refined resource needs. So effectively, if you want to have a tier 5 now or tier 10 in the future staff, you're actually building it with tier 1 resources that have been refined over time. So it keeps those resources running. Now, for the gear that is of low tier and not desired by by anyone anymore, that's a good problem. I think someone I think down the line suggested salvaging as a solution. We have salvaging actually. We have the function. It just hasn't been deployed.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah, actually, I had never thought of salvaging as in this context, in the context of the long run of the economy, but it's definitely useful there.
I also have selling, right?
But even so, if you want to sell a low tier resource, it's useful. If you want to sell a low tier gear, and most players, let's say 10 years from now, are high level, nobody wants to buy, so you're stuck with that gear.
Oh, okay.
So you have to salvage it, to its material and sell the material.
Okay. Or donate it to the dark powers.
Oh right. So the black market can actually we can actually tune the black market in a way to put buy orders for like items that are less in demand. So you actually
Yeah. So you'd have to risk. I mean, it's not a big risk. You just have to run really fast to the black market with all the material you don't need.
Yeah.
And just sell them there.
Yeah, but you're gonna have to carry a lot. I mean, imagine I think you're gonna have to carry hundreds or thousands of items. If you're like very high level and in the end game, a few coins will not make a difference. So you'll be like transporting. You will be juicy to go to the black market with a lot of low tier gear.
Whoop. I think he just disappeared. Oh. You're back.
Okay. Hello. So it's, I mean, today the black market is putting buy orders for items with a certain logic. We can tune that logic to put more demand to the items that are less in demand by the players, so that we can, instead of just salvaging your low tier gear, you can still go and sell it to the trader.
That's a good idea. So I'll add it as an idea.
No. I
No?
think it's more important than an idea. It's we will not, okay, specifically, we will not have to require lower tier. Specifically, the resources, the low tier resources are taken care of. But we have a problem with the low tier gear. So the low tier gear, some of the solutions are put it in the crafting recipe as Voligon suggested, or sell it to the black market, or salvage it, or all three.
Okay. Another nice one from Voligon. Mini games for gathering, crafting, such as the ones implemented into Raven Dawn, could be something to consider before launch.
I tried Raven Dawn. You think he's
Yeah, this
talking
thing,
about this
the bar that works, and
yeah,
you have to click
the
on the
bar
right
that
tab.
goes left and right, and then I feel this technique, which cannot be implemented in Raven Dawn, is better implemented in the battle with us. So let's say you want to, today we have some spells that have some cast time. Maybe if we give you this mini game, so-called mini game, it, when you hit it in the right place, it amplifies.
In the battle?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, but this, I think he means that gathering and crafting is too boring.
Oh, yeah. That's true. I mean...
Oops. Hey, Dark Raiden. Hey.
This is probably not gonna pass. At least, I mean, we can discuss it as a team. But the way the whole economy works is very much reliant on the time spent gathering. The whole population of the players. The time spent gathering is really important, and to make it shorter, we basically don't want to have inflation. The system does not create resources. The system does not create coins. The system creates nothing. Players gather resources, players craft items. And so if we start playing around with the time together that we're tuning, just, with mini games, I'm really worried we break a big part of the economy.
There could be
in principle, it's very scary. We can put it in the icebox, maybe, not kill it. Get back to it.
Yeah, there's another suggestion probably later down that could go well with it, but let's see.
Okay.
2 more from Voligon. First one, a system where players can break cards down into a currency to buy new cards, or the ability to transform 2 of the same card into 1 of the other.
Yeah, definitely. This is players' right. I mean, if you want to respec your deck, you need to, maybe with some waste, salvage some, like level down some cards, or down into their base material, and then rebuild into a different direction. Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Now there's an important function that we have to be aware of here, is that guild members can donate to each other. So in parallel to that, if you want to change the composition of your abilities faster, you can still rely on your guild members to donate you the stuff that you need. And so, but in this case, guild members should be trying to have different decks that are different from each other to maximize the benefit of donation.
Don't tell them the secrets of the game.
It's a buggy feature that's available right now if they wish to troubleshoot it.
Troubleshoot, yeah. So, wait, I have a question now about this. So,
hey, Dark Raiden, how are you? I just saw you.
Yeah, they said they cannot wait to see what you all have. come up with from our information gathering for you all on last playtest.
Yeah, we're discussing this stuff as we speak, and some is still is already in progress, and some we put in the trash bin.
Last one from Voligon. In the mastery board, it should have a breakdown of what leveling it will unlock. For example, if you click on Warrior Craft in mastery, it will have a window saying all the unblocks, perhaps with a check mark next to the ones you are able to do and at what level they were unlocked. As it is a guessing game at this point, you gather all the stuff to find out you can't craft it until level 9, crafting things like that, just an observation and minor frustration not knowing what I needed to be working towards.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Totally agree. I mean, we have those gating mechanism using the mastery levels for a reason, and the player has no clue what the gates are for.
Yeah. Yeah, some of the masteries are not known what they are actually, or how do you unlock higher levels of them.
You mean like the warrior crafter versus warrior fighter?
I think the biggest one is the overall.
Yeah, overall. Well, that has to be renamed to like battle mastery or ability master. Or
Yeah, but naming it whatever you want, it will not describe how do you level it and what it does.
Yeah.
Right?
True.
Alright. Thank you, Voligon, for all the ideas, suggestions, and complaints.
Man, the feedback is really good.
Yeah, exactly. Alright, we have one from Sandie Oreos. Diffuse abilities.
I think that's the same one as like respecking, right? Like
yeah.
going down to your base material and
Yeah.
Oh, or is it to like cancel the ability of the opponent?
No, I don't think so. Because we have fusing, so I think they mean diffusing.
Right. Okay. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Alright, now to NEUK. Auto-select an enemy if there's only one in the battle.
Makes sense, no?
Yeah, like if you go in the battle, or if it's the last one, it should auto-select them.
Yeah, but you know, as a first player, if we auto-select it for you, you're likely to enter against one as a first-time player. And then you go to the next one, you will not know how to select. And then you know the next stage and you get more than one NPC to play against you.
Hey Mohi, thank you for the follow. So you mean it might be a problem for the first time players to know how to select and auto target, to learn that they have to learn it, right?
Yeah.
But
or maybe we teach them when they enter against more than one, and we don't put it in a tutorial when they're only against one.
Yeah, or we can do it after tutorials. So like the first few times it doesn't auto select. Even if it was one mob or two.
Right. Or we make it a toggle and during the battle. But you really don't need to he's right, you really don't need to manually select when you have one opponent.
Yeah. Especially if you're just running around and you're in the mood and just pressing.
Yeah. There's definitely a solution for this. So.
Yeah, that's what because like for example in most games when you're starting with, they start you with one speed, right? And then when you unlock the battles especially, they start you with one speed, and then when you unlock more and more stages, they give you the ability to do 2 speed or 3 speed. So I think that's what we can do. We can start slow, let them auto choose whatever, auto target. Let them target someone that they can click abilities and they can auto attack them, and then after a few battles they're able to auto target by itself the system.
Yeah. There's someone in the chat saying HSF multiple behaviors are never a good thing, perhaps optimize what we have.
What behaviors?
Like I think sometimes to drag to target, and sometimes it's auto targeting, and without any agency to the player.
Yeah, but wouldn't you think that at the beginning it would be okay to show them everything? And maybe we could add a button like a toggle, like auto target or not, or don't auto target.
Look, it's a good. I think definitely it's. We have an we have a lock target.
Yeah, with the right click, right?
Right.
Yeah, so this is what NEUK is talking about, that this should be auto.
Auto lock.
Yeah, auto lock. If it's one
It's
mob.
just a click. It's just a click, and most of the time you'll be playing against more than one mob. Right, see, so HS Fnish is saying, so if I'm playing against 3 and I kill 2, I'm left with 1. Now you switch the behavior on me. I don't drag anymore, or I don't lock to target with a right click. So it's confusing.
Yeah, but okay. What if you're like you can make these rules, right? So if there's 3 mobs, and for these 2 previous ones that you just killed, you are always locking onto them. And then there's 1 left. So it knows that you like locking onto things. So it locks for you.
You may not be locking. When you're facing 3, you may never lock. And then when you're facing just 1, you just do 1 click and you're locked. It's like a toggle, but by right-clicking the character. I truly think like NEUK didn't maybe. Sorry, NEUK. All due respect. Maybe you forgot, or we weren't very able to explain the lock target functionality.
Maybe. It is
Just one click.
sometimes you miss it with the
one
tutorial.
click is already too many. One too many, but.
Yeah.
Or we can like just auto lock, and we don't have it. I think we're like spending too long on this. We can auto lock and give him a notification that target auto locked, target locked. That's it.
Okay, let's discuss it then. Okay. Next one. Why are there so many varieties? A small stone, medium stone, a large stone, a sparkling stone, a stone sparkling with different color. You need one stone, but different items to use it. For example, a regular pickaxe, the chance to get a rare element is 1%, wooden pickaxe 3%, stone pickaxe 5% to get a rare item, and so on. All the ingredients should fall out of one stone, only with different percentages.
Trying to understand.
So he means instead of having too many varieties of resources to pick together, make it one, and the difference between the material that you get from gathering these resources depends on what item or tool you use to gather. So imagine if you have one stone for every for all resources that are related to stone, and you have, depending on what tool you use, so the normal pickaxe. So the same guy in our chat, he said it's not a roguelite. Yeah, it is a bit. It will change everything if it's implemented, so I'm pretty sure we're not gonna do that.
Indeed, it's not a roguelike, but so the idea here that instead of having stone of tier 1, 2, 3, and so on, we just have stone, and depending on the tool, we get the quality of the stone can go up.
Yeah, like there's a chance that you get better material.
Yeah. Actually, it's not a bad idea. It may break the whole economy.
Yeah, because we were talking about this
Why? Why do? Yeah. Tell me.
the mini game thing.
Mm.
I think these two fall under the same discussion, because your worry with the mini game in gathering is that it might break the economy because
The time spent. It will break our tuning because of time issues. Time spent issues. There's a lot of like secrets under the hood.
yeah. So this would as well, because part of the resource gathering thing is that you have to go look for them, right? And if it all goes down to what kind of tool you have right now, it doesn't matter where you go, then the whole exploration thing might break, right?
Yeah, true. We want to encourage player encounters, and in this case, you're just gonna stay close to home. Nah.
I think the problem
It's
here...
a great idea, but it just doesn't fit this game.
The problem here is that our resources, they look very similar, and that's what's the problem. So if we had, instead of 10 kinds of stones, 10 different kind of resources, they might not have the same issue.
I see what you mean. Yeah, but then there will be readability issues, like so you're saying here, let's say a cobalt stone has a certain shape and look, and then a rock has a different shape and look, and so it keeps things fresh.
Yeah.
But in our whole economy, a rock is made of the material of the cobalt. So you kind of lose the, your line of like supply chain of your crafting.
Oh, but if it's all rocks,
well, we can give them names.
yeah.
But similar looks with a coding showing that one is one tier above the other is much more readable than just totally different things.
Yeah, but I don't think we're doing a great job with this. We're doing a good job with this in, for example, trees and maybe rocks.
Yeah.
But the fiber and the
I agree.
The small
They're
thing.
not easily distinguishable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I agree.
Okay. Next one from NEUK. We should have a full description of the quests, but there should be no clues where to look for them. This is how the player gets to know the world, and that's just follow the arrow here and do what it says. You will also make an active auto move. Then you alienate a bunch of players.
I personally am totally for this idea instead of railroading the players. And to find, now I'm thinking aloud, and to find a balance between those who need their hand held and those who want some freedom we can give them maps or scrolls or whatever you want to call them in their starting bag to use it and find the destination, and then the walkthrough will appear. Actually, it can be a normal item throughout the game, from early game to late game. Those maps help you find, like a map to help find, for example, a tier 5 treant, or a map to help find a tier 5 wood. So you have a bunch of these available in your bag when you get started, so they help you find the destination. And when you activate them, the walkthrough appears. But without using them, you're just left to your own devices. And maybe one of the quests is to actually learn how to use them.
Wait, so you mean to give them maps to let players find the things by themselves, or to give them maps to activate this arrow that points you?
To activate the arrow. So when they consume the map, it's like a scroll.
Ah,
When they consume the scroll, it activates the arrow.
okay. And if they don't,
They see nothing. They don't see any arrow.
so they have a mission, collect this much, but they have
And
no.
they don't know where it is
Hmm.
unless they activate the map. But it's available, for collection. It's just like they can explore on their own.
Okay, that's a good idea. Okay, you can read the next one if you want. It's the last
Okay.
one from NEUK.
That's from NEUK. The maps are empty. It can take a few minutes just to see something, whether it's a rock or an enemy. And if you meet them, then there is such a big pile of everything. 100 enemies and 100 stones with trees. This is a very strong contrast. I understand that such piles are designed for groups of players, co-op, clans, but you have to think about solo players as well. What do you think, Yaman?
Yeah, we need a lot of world building still. Like we didn't reach this point yet, but we should start thinking about it. And like I think this is.
I think this is a matter of distributing the NPCs and the resources on the maps
Yeah.
to be less concentrated and more spread out.
Like right now, is it auto-generated, like with rules, or do we have?
Both. So there's a degree of predetermined and a degree of randomness. And a degree and a chance, there is a certain chance that a new spawned NPC gets spawned next to its lookalike, its own species. So it's a mix of all these. So we need to tune this in a way that... Now, generally speaking, when there will be more players in the map, it will naturally be more spread out.
Okay. Like that's how... This is one of the requirements for spreading out the resources in the system by itself? Or what?
No, there's no direct causality, but it's not like in the formula. Like it's not like we look at how many players there are and we spread the mobs out. But because just by the rule used to spawn them, if the lumps are cleared, there's less chance of adding one more NPC to a lump. So there will be and more chance of being spread out.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so NEUK was facing too many lumps and too few separate NPCs. We can just tune it a little bit.
Which is something we're always working on also.
Yeah.
Alright, thank you NEUK, and congratulations on winning the title of the Bug Hunter of the Month.
Oh, there was like 100 bugs from NEUK.
Yeah. Now to Black Boa and
Black Raiden.
Black Raiden, which is... Oh, this is the same person. Dark Raiden, Black Raiden. Alright. Same color.
Oh, there's no Black Raiden.
No, in our sheet it's Black Raiden. Yeah, you heard your name right.
Dark Raiden.
Dark Raiden. Okay, so we're starting with Dark Raiden. Loot all button.
Loot all. Big controversy here.
Yeah, this is something we were discussing for a long time.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, but we haven't reached a decision.
We did actually. And you decided that we...
What did you decide?
You decided that we don't need a do loot all button.
Okay, good. Yeah, Dark Raiden. We're talking about... we reached, I think, your list of feedback. Yeah. So the loot all... I mean, I realized the trouble of like having to spam the loot to collect all your loot. But it's a multiplayer game, and if you notice when you open the loot interface, someone else could have it open at the same time, and they can take the items from the bag that they want, and you take the items that you want. So you're actually fighting on every single item inside of that loot bag. Obviously, when you're soloing and there's not many people around you, and it's in a safe zone like the blue zones now, this may not be a big deal. But it becomes, a thrilling, more, higher stakes experience if someone else can rat you, and actually can rat specific items of the bag. Besides, you have a bag limit, you have a weight limit, so loot all. Maybe some things you just don't want to pick up if it's like low level stuff. Now, there's a couple of things I have thought about. I didn't share with you, Yaman, yet, but I've thought about it, and I thought we'll discuss it when the time comes. Is to have a piece of gear, an amulet or something, or an item that actually allows you to loot all. There's somewhere else where, or to loot more than one thing, for example. There's somewhere else where I think also you, Dark Raiden, mentioned that you wanted auto loot. Like we were just
area
looted
loot.
from
Yeah.
area loot from distance. Also can be associated with an item that allows you to, if you have that item, you can open that interface from afar. So this makes it easier. But another point that makes it much easier, and I've had the blessing of some of our other colleagues, but we haven't discussed it formally, Aman, is not to put the abilities in the loot, but to actually give them to the player. So to just give them at the end of, how in like Pokemon, when you finish your battle, every single Pokemon you have gets like additional XP. Where our abilities are a form of XP, but it's itemized XP. So just get them. They're yours. What's left in the bag will be gold and items and gear and artifacts and other things that you can be left to fight over, because they're not really a form of XP. So this will make collecting much less tedious, and actually will give you a bit of thrill. So you get your abilities when you're done with the battle. You go back to the scene of the open world and you wonder, did I get some loot? Did I not get some loot? If I got some loot, did somebody rat it? There's a protection time, but whatever, will it be interesting loot? Not every time you're gonna get loot, you're gonna get abilities. If things are the same all the time, always getting abilities, you might as well just get it at the end of the battle and get done with it.
That's true.
Yeah. So a couple of things here regarding loot makes it easy. I'm reading Dark Raiden's comment here. It was because it was tough to pick up stuff in between monsters. I guess that's why you asked for the area loot. Yes, definitely a good idea. And we can, instead of making it like either area or either click to collect, we can associate it with an item that you run on your build. And if it's on and activated, then you area loot.
Alright.
You have a timer before others can pick it up. I'm reading Dark Raiden's comment, but it was mainly if loot dropped in between monster or strike. Yeah.
Like it's hard to click.
It's hard to
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, because like sometimes when it's especially a lot of mobs are fighting at the same time, and there are lots of players fighting it, and we'll run with this into this issue a lot once we have many players fighting the same amount of many mobs at the same time, is that we're throwing the loot boxes or bags on top of each other, or like we don't have a rule that they shouldn't be on top of each other, right?
we don't.
So probably we need to think about this as well, like push it a bit outside.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, no, it does fall in the vicinity, a bit random, but within the vicinity of where the kill occurred. But sometimes they can be on this exactly the same spot.
Yeah.
When I was playing, I had this problem, but I thought to myself, it might be a good problem to keep. Not trying to be very defensive, not at all trying to be defensive, but because it gives you a sort of trade-off. Do I have to clear that mob so that I can pick up the loot that's hiding behind it, or do I just give it up? So it's new trade-off here. Always like, is it a meaningful choice? Maybe it's a forced choice. Maybe you already did what needs to be done to get the loot, and we're adding encumbrance.
Well, I mean, we could add it in another way, not like in a way to make people's life difficult. Is to make it uh, harder to pick up the loot when it's between monsters, because the monsters might aggro or might start a fight with you.
Yeah. But then we still have the problem of like clicking it exactly.
Yeah, then you need some agility.
Yeah. No, the area loot's a good solution. And then you won't have as many loot bags to collect if the abilities are offered at the end of the battle.
Actually, I like this area loot pendant. They said, Dark Raiden saying, we encountered several places where there were so many monsters we kept dying due to massive aggro and made it impossible to loot the area. Yeah.
Yeah, people are disliking the size of the lumps.
Also the circles that we have.
And the size, oh yeah. So Dark Raiden's idea was amazing. Genius.
Yeah, reduce the sphere of attack, increase it with mastery level up. This is a great idea. And it might
I think we already have it ready for build.
Okay, nice. Alright, yeah, and I like this area loot pendant. And maybe you can craft it and it has durability and...
Yeah, just like any other item.
Alright, cool.
I don't know if you prepared the devlog or like, I mean, if you shared the devlog, but we're working on boots, we're working on a form of capes, on amulets, and they have various things, you know, they help you flee, they help you speed up, they help you do longer term buffs or passive abilities during battle, and everything is an item, everything is craftable from the resources or from the artifacts and tradable.
This is coming in the next version for the one that will be available during the next playtest?
I'm not sure if it will be deployed for that playtest, but it's available in testing.
Alright, cool. Alright, next one. Need to be able to deconstruct old gear. This is we talked about. To get materials back. Players are not interested in selling old gear, in my opinion, especially low gear. So this is we talked about it, that will add
Salvage, yeah. Deconstruct, yeah.
in the black market, right?
Well, you can sell in the black market for gold, but Dark Raiden is selling, she doesn't like selling for gold, just wants to like deconstruct, salvage, essentially. And we can salvage. So that's the same thing we discussed with.
No, she didn't say not interested in gold. Everyone's interested in gold.
Oh, so why would she not be interested in selling old gear?
Maybe
if she wants the gold.
If she does means no one is buying.
Yeah, so you sell it to the black market or you deconstruct it. Yeah.
Alright. Next one. Recheck what actions should be allowed to be done even when bag is full. For example.
Yeah, when bag is full, you can't do anything. Definitely, that's like a big problem.
Yeah.
And it's the work is in progress on it. So you can do things. For example, I think fusing, as mentioned here, crafting, the stuff that you do in town, you can all do even if your bag is full. Refining.
This is in the new version, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Next one. When there is no storage, we need the ability to drop an item and pick it up afterwards. Or someone else might pick it up.
Or someone else might pick it up. But yeah, the ability, yeah, because you'd have no space in your bag. But I mean, the bags fit tens of items in the early game, and then late game thousands of items. So why would you want to? I mean, we can do it, but I mean, does it make a big difference?
I think in
Dark
the
Raiden, if you're here, maybe you can. Yeah, tell me.
I think the previous playtest we had an issue with that they didn't know that they could craft a bag, right?
Mm,
So this and there was because there was a vault and we removed it so they don't leave stuff in
yeah,
the
it's
tutorial
true. This
island.
playtest was very tight.
Yeah, especially with storage stuff.
Yeah.
So like, if this next one we tell people that you can craft a bag, then most people would not need the to drop anything or sell anything.
Got it. Or and if we allow them to do some actions while the bag is full, also they will have less frustration. I remember there were so many frustrations with full bags. They would fill up really quickly, and then we'd not let them do anything, and they didn't even know how to trash it sometimes.
Yeah. An obvious place to find your player ID in case you can't remember.
Okay. Definitely.
When fighting multiple mobs, shield has to be available way faster as they can attack you a lot more than you have timer on the shield for. Do you get it? I think
The shield
that's
has no cast time. The shield activates when you click immediately. But then it doesn't last long enough when there's many attackers. Yeah, we can tune that. I mean, we have to think, tuning is not so straightforward in the battle, especially. We have to simulate a lot of situations, a lot of battles. But yeah, I recognize that, maybe you were having some frustration, losing a lot of HP points, though you had some shields. We'll look into this. I think we should look into this tuning. But the shield eventually will, as you level up your abilities of block, will either get more like absorption, more block, or more duration. Fuse a few shields together, a few blocks together.
Yeah. No, it was so if you have full bag and need to craft something, we couldn't craft anything. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll remove the embargo from this function. That's why we need the crate to make space. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Combo action against mobs. We have such a thing, right? But with higher, like an ability that will attack more than one mob.
AoEs.
There is, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But with more advanced
with more advanced
gear,
more advanced abilities. When you level up your overall a little bit, you start receiving abilities that allow you to AoE mobs.
Yeah, we saw that later on, but because the circle is so big and aggro so many monsters at the time, that the shield was down too long at a time. So this was for the shield.
But Dark Raiden, did you notice that you can have multiple shields on your deck, or that some blocks over time, as you fuse them up,
like now on the
can
screen,
have a longer duration.
Like on the stream, there's a few blocks. Oh, I just died on the video on the stream, but there were a few blocks that were higher than had the capacity more than the normal one because I fused more. Okay, let's wait the chances, and while that's happening, we can go to more. Yeah, we said there are actions against mobs. No vaulting clarier, yeah. So we're not bringing back the vaulting clarier, right?
Seems we won't need to if we fix the better to reduce, you know, early stage, first time user experience. Reduce all those complexities.
A travel system for towns you already visited, of course, for a fee.
Yeah, of course, no doubt.
Nice. Kills for missions should count to all
By the way, I
fighters
think
in a
the
party.
travel system is ready, just not deployed.
Oh, really? Oh, with the
Yeah.
port, right?
Yeah, at the port, from the port. So you can select, so today at the port it just tells you not supported, but when we deploy it, you'll be able to select your destination and it takes you.
Even if you don't,
you-
if you didn't visit it before, it just takes you there.
Yeah, even if you didn't.
And you shouldn't have the flag up, right? Or
Yeah, you can't be flagged because you can only go to like other towns.
yeah. Okay. Kills for missions should count to all fighters in a party. You know this one?
But that's the case, no? Like if you give an assist, I cannot remember if we had it in the last playtest, but
We didn't. I checked also.
oh, okay, now it's available. So if you have an assist, you
Hmm.
actually get a loot.
No, not only the loot.
Oh, for the
loot,
flag points.
not for the flag points, for the missions. So we have a few missions that kill 5 T1 mobs, right?
Right.
So if you
Yeah, it should
go
count.
assist
It should
someone,
count.
yeah, it should
Yeah.
count.
Oh, we didn't put it in the pipeline, but we should.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, definitely should count. It counts towards your mission.
Yeah.
Mission, yeah, true.
I think people do it this more than the loot or I mean, depends on the loot that they get, but yeah, they're doing it for the missions, the assisting.
Yeah, early on, yeah, definitely.
All right, last one from Dark Raiden. Sorry. It's tough to get your loot if it lands amongst a lot of enemies. So maybe this one we already said. All right, the area loot button.
Thank you very much, Dark Raiden.
Thank you so much, and see you in the next one, in the next playtest. And now, for Black Boa. Alright, first one. Crafting repair costs felt too high. The amount of gold required to craft and especially repair felt a bit too high. In some cases, it might have actually been cheaper for me to simply craft new gear than repair my gear with how high the cost of gold was.
Correct. Yeah, it is. So there's crafting and repairing work very differently in terms of pricing them. So crafting, actually the transfer of gold in crafting should go from a player to another, and the other is the owner of the crafting station. So that's ready, just not deployed. So for the costs we're putting up now are just like arbitrary costs that we came up with. When you have multiple, so there will be many plots for players to own crafting stations on, and when players put the cost of the gold for a craft, there will be downward pressure. You know, they will be competing towards getting more business, and it should settle around somewhere where it's acceptable to both buyers and sellers of that crafting action. Hopefully. Now, worst case, one can still salvage, or we'll introduce other functionalities to put a ceiling to how much it could cost. Repair is different. Repair doesn't go. The repair just like the gold goes away for topping up the durability of a gear, and it was definitely very expensive, and so that has been revisited and retuned.
Do you know the problem that they faced last time was that because we were messing with the durability, right? So a lot of the gears that were already there, they were kind of messed up. So they were. Remember the last playtest? The issue with the durability
You mean we have
thing?
a bug with the durability?
No, it wasn't a bug. It was because we were fine-tuning how durability works, as far as I understood from the devs, that it was from 1 to 10, and then they changed it from 1 to 1,000. or it was from 1 to 100, and they changed it from 1 to 1,000. So even if it was 100, that means that 100 from 1,000, it's too low already.
Yeah, so it could have been that in the last playtest, but that has been revisited and retuned. Anyways.
Okay. Certain mob skills felt too strong. Specifically talking about the 3 mobs that slowed your mana regeneration. What I think will end up happening is that people simply avoid this mob, as there is currently no way to counter it within most builds, if at all. Perhaps if there are some sort of cleanse of its shields were able to block the effect, it could make for more people wanting to fight them, but as for me, I simply avoided them altogether.
There will be some abilities that counter the treants much better than the abilities that are available now, so they will come down. So either, counter the slowdown and mana regen, or clear the treant mob faster. So naturally that will be retuned. We're measuring how long it takes to clear every kind of mob, and because at the end, you need to spend time to clear a mob, so you'll always choose the fastest one, the fastest yield, so the one that gives you the most runes for the least time. And treants are a local minimum. They're almost never worth it, so we must make them worth it. But it's possible also that in the future, more than that, some specific artifacts fall from a specific kind of mob. So if not many are farming these artifacts and they're needed for some crafting of some items, then these artifacts will have a high price because there's not a big supply of them, comparative to the demand or comparative to the supply of other artifacts. Then that may make the treant more desired, although maybe slower.
Yeah, also like a lot of players, they still didn't unlock the higher gear.
The higher abilities.
The higher abilities and higher gear.
Yeah.
So this will affect a lot. Next one. World felt a bit empty. Would be nice to have more resources and mobs spread throughout the map, especially when there will be lots of players at launch. This one we already talked about with Voligon. Or
no, I don't think it was the same point with Voligon. Anyways, we can address it again. I think Black Boa himself also mentioned somewhere else that maybe the speed will allow you to feel the world is less empty. So to start with, we're tuning the speed, but also the density and distribution of resources and mobs is important to feel the world has, always has something for you. So we agree. It does feel a bit light, so we're arranging the distribution. But what we're also doing is there will be more things that happen in the zone. So for example, there will be chest drops. From time to time you will see a chest in a zone. Everybody will be able to see it on the mini-map, that there's a chest in the zone, let's go pick it up. You will find things like that, and we will spawn some very valuable bosses in random locations in the zone, and so it will be worth it to look for them, and they will make the world more full also. But there's also the outposts, which need their own space, because the bosses there will need a lot of players to clear them and to control the outposts. So you will need, it'll be full with players. Other than that, once we're comfortable with the distribution of resources and NPCs in a given zone, we will use landmark, and I think Yaman, you're working on this. We'll use some landmarks to make you memorize over time, where things are. So currently the zones have almost no landmarks at all. You have to just put some effort and say, I have to go towards the northeast to kind of like find something that I want. But we will give you, for example, I don't know, the statue of Zeus. Let's be very pejorative here, but it will be a landmark in a specific place, but in a meaningful place, you know, where it is a reminder of how the distribution of NPCs and resources and chest drops and outposts and whatnot is in the zone. Also, the speed may affect your feeling of how the distribution is. If you can walk or run a little bit faster, and we'll have mounts also, so if you can mount up and run, you will feel that, you know, you can find many more things in the world. It's a work in progress. We agree with the issue. It's a work in progress. Hopefully at some point it will find a good equilibrium. Thoughts, Yaman?
Yeah, no, you summed it up pretty good. That the speed, landmarks, so in short, we'll fill the world more, and we'll make the speed feel better, make traveling feels better.
You had, and maybe like also, you know, you were talking to me about the narrative or the lore the other day. To, you know,
yeah, like
have the zones have more environment, more props.
Yeah, we might put some small stories in some corners. We're still thinking how to implement this, because as we said at the beginning of the stream, that we're thinking to make it more sandboxy, so we don't want to push people or players to go through a certain path or follow a certain linear story. But we might put some small, I don't know if we could call it Easter eggs, or even we could make like small minor narratives, or I'm trying to push for it because I like these things. Leave some letters, some maps to collect that would, if you put them together, you might get something nice. So yeah, in short, filling up the world. It needs filling up for sure. That we agreed on. Next one, you wanna do the honors?
Resource allocation among tiles. So I think tiles here, you mean the zones, right, on the world map. Depending on where you start, the resources available for crafting were sometimes 3 tiles away, 3 zones away from your starting area. Albion was able to have a primary resource per biome, but would also have another biome with other resources within 1 zone or 2 zones from your starter town, instead of 3 in our case. I would consider making this similar, as I did feel a pain point having to run through 3 zones just to get a resource I wanted. Maybe that would not be as bad with increased movement speed, but it would probably be best that each location at least has the basic resource 1 tile away in either direction. I think we should revisit this after we have the mounts and the speeds, and in fact we're shortening some of the distances already, not for the sake of this issue, but it will help this issue. So going from starter town to the closest other resource is indeed 3 zones, but with the new update it will actually be 2 in between, 2 intervals, 2 zones in between instead of 3. It was not made to save to help with this, but it will help with this, as you said, and with the speed ups. So I think we should keep it and revisit it after we do. Excuse me, after we do all these changes.
All right. Certain UI elements felt hard to use. Most windows, when you opened them, stayed up unless you hit escape multiple times or X'd out with a cursor. Particularly when at a bank or a crafting station. Perhaps you can simply close the window if a character starts to move to make those windows disappear quicker, instead of people always have to hit escape. It just felt like an extra step that was unnecessary.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure. I remember we also had it, and then it created an edge case that was really weird. And so instead of like solving for that edge case, we went for the easy solution and put that request at the back of the pipeline, but its turn is coming.
Yeah, yeah, and we'll keep working on UI. Like we changed so much from the previous playtest to the last one, like from 5 to 6. So I'm guessing it's not done yet. It's still work in progress. Deck sizes based on slots in gear and progression. I was thinking about this, and sometimes I thought that it would be an advantage to a player to have a smaller, more effective deck. Oh, this is a big one. More effective deck than necessarily fill every slot of their gear with cards. Why do I think this way? Well, if you have too many different cards and a larger deck, you may not get the card you want in time for the situation in front of you. Not sure how to make this feel different, or if I am missing something in my line of thought. But if it is indeed better to not use every slot in your gear for a smaller, more effective deck, then it sort of defeats the purpose of unlocking further slots, which would significantly reduce the feeling of progression in the game. So I think this hits right in the heart, because this is what our game is mostly about. This is the main loop, the fighting and the deck building. We were discussing this, me and you, for a bit, and I think that we should try to experiment with different ways. So first of all, we don't have a minimum amount of abilities that we need to have in our deck, right? And I don't know.
Yeah, at the moment we don't have a minimum deck size.
Yeah, and I don't know if that would help even if we add it, because a player could add, even if we made like a minimum 10 cards or 5 cards, a player could add small or like smaller level cards or abilities to fill up the deck, because we give them this option. Because in other deck building games, you have the card and then you can upgrade it. You cannot have the same card with a smaller level and a higher level, right?
Right. I know you can have dupes. You can have duplicates. In maybe like in more like MMOs, normal MMOs, you cannot have duplicates for your abilities. You just upgrade the abilities. But in card battles, you definitely can have duplicates. Some have a cap on how many duplicates you can have. So I think this is really, really core.
Yeah.
I mean, if I can beat the game with 3 cards, why do I need to progress more? Now there's the vertical progression where these abilities are actually upgraded to level 100, and a level 100 ability is the equivalent, is much stronger than way stronger than a level 0 ability. So there's that. But you can also still, I mean, I think what Black Boa is saying also, I mean, why are you expanding the slots available on my deck, since I only need, let's say, 3 cards? I think the trade-off we thought of here is your wait time to reload the deck. So the larger your deck, the less reload times you need. The shorter the deck, the more reload you need. We want to keep it. In my opinion, I would like my tendency is to keep it to the choice of the user. If they want to have a small deck, big deck, is up to them. Maybe with time we will have to cap the number of duplicates of a certain ability, or start to add minimum deck size. That minimum deck size sounds a bit punitive. Just for the sake of giving you a progression. I mean, come on, let me have a strategy here. But if the meta, I mean, if like the winning decks are like very small decks, most likely we have to tune things.
Yeah, for sure.
Either
Yeah.
tune the reload time it takes, or tune the actual effect of these cards, or cap the number of duplicates. Like let's say you cannot have 5 blocks. Now blocks are easy to deal with, but let's say there are like they are the bomb, yeah, and you decide to have a deck of 5 blocks. We cap them at 2 or 3, where we start like finding ways to, if it's impossible to tune, but I just don't want to force you to a minimum deck size. If it's impossible to balance, but I don't want to force you to a minimum deck size. Just want to give you the option of more, of a larger deck size if you so desire. And it gives you the, so let's say you want to have, let's say, to make it simple, let's say your meta is punch and block. You may want, like, your composition can be 2 punches, 2 blocks, fine, so half. But maybe with time you figure out that actually you need 70% block and 30% punch. So you're gonna have to have a deck of size 10 so that you fill it with 7 punches and 3 blocks, so that you get the right balance, the right composition you want for your deck. So I think this, definitely this is a big issue we have to keep a very keen eye on. It's like core to the core of the game.
Yeah.
But we just have to keep a keen eye on. We shouldn't really worry about arbitrary restrictions that we impose from now on.
Yeah, maybe it would be solved also in other ways, like maybe not to change how the decks work, but maybe balancing the mobs would solve some of it. Balancing the abilities themselves. So yeah, there's a lot of ingredients in this recipe that we need to think about. But it's a valid point, and I think we really need to think about it, if not now, in the very near future.
Yeah, I mean, it's kept me at night, up at night, many times. But I reached a level of that I think there are solutions, if at all it becomes a true problem.
Yeah. Alright, last but not least, map size. I know this was only an alpha, but I assume the world will be much larger at release. Also from Black Boa.
Playing the credits already?
What? Can you hear me?
Yes, you're feedbacking.
Oh really? Maybe
Me
you,
too.
maybe from you're opening something. You're listening to 2 streams on the same headphones.
I think I was listening. Somehow Twitch turned on, and I was hearing myself on Twitch.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So last one, did you hear it? The question or the
Map size?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the map size, I feel it will not be increased with time, but will be increased with the number of players. So we want we want to optimize for meaningful player encounters, and already we have a larger map than what you have worked on, what you have experienced in the playtest, especially in the hostile zones. So after the red zone, a whole area of hostile zone is open, where there's much bigger role to the guilds.
The black zone.
Yeah, but so yeah, it doesn't mean from the beginning we need to have like 160 zones, because then it will be the player encounters will be very infrequent and the world will be very diluted. At the same time, we don't want to have it jam-packed. So there's a balance here, and this is like the map, the world map will be a living organism, growing constantly and quite symmetric. Like the distances will be fair among all the factions, all the tribes. In fact, what we have today in terms of in terms of level design for like the connections between all the zones of the world map is 160 zones. But we definitely cannot deploy 160 zones when we have playtesters, or this. So we will adjust their deployment as we go.
Cool.
It's a life service at the end. It's a life organism.
Mm. Yeah, but it would feel larger.
I hope. I mean, I think we don't. Do you want to optimize to make it feel larger, or do you want to optimize to make it feel with interesting player encounters? Like not get to meet a player, but for example, go co-op with a player, PvP with a player, have enough players to pick up resources and trade with at the marketplace. Just the right balance of things.
Yeah. Yeah, like.
Or have friends if you want, also.
I mean, there will be more stuff to do. That's how you could also mean by make it feel larger. And more things to see, and more friends to hang out with, and more stuff to do with them, or more stuff to do with other players or against other players, with your guild, with your faction.
Yeah, with the guild wars, the outpost wars, the quests that we discussed at the beginning.
Yeah.
The chest drops, the special rare bosses.
Yeah. So look forward to these things. And that's it. We're done. Congratulations.
Congrats. Thank you everybody for listening in. Thank you for everyone who interacted with the stream. Dark Raiden and some others, I can't remember the names. Mahoui and HSN.
Yeah.
We'll probably have this recording up on YouTube. Yaman, yeah, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. And see you next time. Take care.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Don Vino. All right. Bye.
Bye.